Good morning, everybody. You are currently listening to a Tall Girls podcast hosted by a tall girl named India. I hope everyone is having a spectacular day today. Before I get into this episode, be sure to follow me on my socials at a Tall Girls podcast on Instagram, TikTok, and Pinterest to stay updated on the latest podcast episodes and even check out some super relatable tall girl content. You'll absolutely love that, especially if you are a tall girl yourself. They'll be linked below in the description, and underneath that you will see a link to leave me a review, so definitely check that out. Click on that link and let me know how tall you are, because I am genuinely curious to know how tall my followers / listeners are. Anyways, today we are back with another episode of this series called Tall Girl Reacts to Tall Girl Problems. Now, if you're new to this podcast, by the way, hi. Or if you're just new to this series, you never listened to any of the previous episodes, Tall Girl Reacts to Tall Girl Problems is a series on this podcast where I, a tall girl, basically pull different tall girl problems from the internet, usually known as like those posts from 2015 Tumblr. That's a little too, I'm thinking probably 2011. When was Tumblr popular? I don't know. I just remember the grainy photos with the terrible filters and the disgusting peace sign pictures, those poses with the peace signs, and those emo girls covering like half their face with their hair. Honestly, let me not discredit them. They're probably doing well right now. They probably have like full-time jobs. They're rich, doing well for themselves, family, big house, 3 cars. I don't know, but how do we even get to this point? I was talking about Tumblr. Yeah, tall girl problem posts all originated from Tumblr, all over the internet, all over on Pinterest. They have updated ones too. We need to get into those. Why are we still on the old ones? I don't know. But I just react to them and I let you know whether or not they are relatable. Are they funny or not? Were they made by a short person in a basement? Who knows? We're about to find out. So let's get into it. When you have to do the awkward slouch / head tilt in the shower just to reach the shower head and wet your hair. Oh my gosh. I genuinely envy those people that can just walk directly under the shower head and wash their hair. Like, I have to bend my knees, back, and neck just to wet it. And people wonder why I'm constantly in pain. Like, this is my life. And I'm also kind of jealous of those people that have those shower heads that are straight down. I don't even know if that makes sense. But they come from the top of the ceiling and they just shoot water straight down. Mine is not on the ceiling. It's on the wall. It's on the higher part of the wall, but it's pointed outward, tilted outward, pointed outward. Something like that, but I'm pretty sure you understand what I'm saying. It's not coming from the ceiling. It's still like the wall that's in front of you, but it's just higher up and it's tilted. I honestly think that the ceiling shower heads are pretty cool, but I have a question. Do you wash your hair facing the shower head or facing like the wall that's closer to the shower head? I'm assuming this is probably for tilted shower head people, not the ceiling shower head people. But do you wash your hair facing the shower head or facing away from the shower head? I kind of feel like you're a maniac if you wash your hair facing the shower head, because all of the water and the products and stuff get in your eyes and face. You know, you got having all that acne, you're gonna have all burnt eyes, red eyes. Yeah, for that, I definitely feel like it depends on the angle of the shower head as well. Like, if your shower head is pointed outward and it's on the wall, yeah. I don't know how you do that. That's really strange. But I see people in movies do that, and I'm like, how? Why? You know, I actually used to wash my hair in the this is a complete sidetrack, oh my gosh, but I used to wash my hair in the kitchen sink until I was like 12. or 13. And I would bend over, as tall as I would bend over the sink and wash my hair in it. So the water would get all in my eyes, product would get all in my eyes. I used to have to put like a tiny towel thingy over my eyes so it wouldn't like affect it as much. But that was a terrible experience. And I would have to be bent over for like 20 minutes just to wash my hair. It was terrible. I would not recommend it. So I think that would be the equivalent of facing the shower head. So I used to be a maniac. Why are we even talking about this? Anyways, just know that now I face away from the shower head. So I'm normal currently. Anyways, shower head, tall girl problem. Definitely very uncomfortable. People's heads sometimes be over the shower head. It's insane. These apartments and hotels need to get it together. Next, oh my gosh, the fact that I just spoke about an apartment, now we're talking about an apartment. Having to turn down an apartment because you would hit your head on all slanted ceilings. This is a weird one. I mean, I've visited apartments and stuff before, but me and other people I know that have also seen apartments and told me about it or even visited with me, I know none of us have turned down an apartment because of a slanted ceiling. I don't even think I've seen an apartment with a slanted ceiling. The last time I saw a slanted ceiling, you would know this if you live in New York City and you actually, did things in New York City. The last time I saw a slanted ceiling, it was in the Hall of Science. If you know the Hall of Science and you've been there several times when you were younger, like you and I, we need to form an alliance because the Hall of Science used to really be a trend. Honestly, it should still be a trend now. But at the Hall of Science, they had this exhibit thing. I think it was like an Alice in Wonderland type of exhibit thing. I guess like from some scene where she got bigger in the room. But they were explaining the science of getting bigger in a room where this little, I was going to say trap house. Let me stop. This little room house figure thing. I can't explain it. But it would, and then it had a mirror in it. So when you walk upward, I guess uphill, because the floor would slant up and the ceiling would slant downwards the more you walk up. So the more you walk up in the mirror, you would appear bigger because the room was, I guess, shrinking. But if you walk back the other way, where the floor is going down back to the normal ground level and the ceiling is going up back to the normal, I guess, ceiling level, in the mirror you would look like you're getting smaller. It was supposed to be some optic illusion type of thing going on, but I don't know. Like, I've never seen it in an apartment before. So I just find it really weird. I mean, I'm sure some apartments have low ceilings, but all in all, I do think that apartments should be more tall friendly. Just a little bit. Like, even if that calls for slightly higher ceilings, sinks, dressers, tables, counters, because I mean, even for short people, if it were slightly higher up, like an inch or like half an inch even, I genuinely don't even think that it would affect them. Average height people and short people, they're at a comfortable stance when they're at these places, when they're at the table or they're at the the sink or the counter. They're at comfortable positions. So if it was slightly higher up, I don't even think it would affect them that much. Honestly, it would help them improve their posture. You never know. They may even grow taller. They may even grow an inch or two because it will force their back and their legs and stuff to have to stand up straighter. And naturally, they could get taller. I'm making the most out of it, but you know what I mean. I just feel like they need to make it slightly taller or even make separate apartments for people who are on the taller side. They could even charge more. That sounds really bad. I don't want anybody paying slightly more just because things are like a half inch higher up. Like, they should have already done that in the first place. But I genuinely think that things need to be higher up. That's it. Now, that means that the architect or the building people or whoever would have to change the entire structure of the apartment complex. Okay, maybe not the entire thing if it's only certain apartments, but there's just a lot of change. It would just be awkward because if there are already people living in units, like, how are you going to go in there and be like, hey, like, I need to work on your counters and stuff like that, and just raise it up a half inch? Like, that's just so awkward and honestly time consuming. But don't look at me for that, okay? I was just making a suggestion. I am not doing anything architect related in school or my career, so I don't need to think too much or too hard about that. I just need to state a solution and they need to figure that out. But what apartment has slanting ceilings? Like, I'm not understanding and I want to know. Is it by the Hall of Science with like the slanting room exhibit that I'm pretty sure is gone now? I don't know. Does your apartment or room or house have slanted ceilings? Let me know at a Tall Girls podcast. But I wouldn't think that this is the case for all tall people. Just, this may be for the extremely tall ones, but even the extremely tall ones, what the tallest person in the world is / was what, like 8 feet, almost 8 feet, but 8 feet tall. And the standard ceiling is usually 10 feet high. So even if you're 8 feet tall, you have a good 2 feet, yes, of head space, like above you, you know? Like, I'm pretty sure you're not going to go jumping around in your apartment, disturbing the neighbors downstairs and stuff like that, and breaking your floors to hit your head on the ceiling. Like, I don't think so. Maybe a light, if you have a low-hanging light, good luck. But I don't know. I don't see it as too much of a problem. Maybe if you're super, super tall, like 8 feet tall, I get it. But I don't know about this one. Next, when the same people who describe your short friends as adorable describe you as intimidating, I think that is a big thing with tall girls. People seeing them as intimidating. And I agree that it can be annoying, but is it really a bad thing? I don't mind looking scary to people sometimes. Like, don't mess with me, don't annoy me, don't come for me. Low-key, don't even talk to me, don't even look at me, don't even breathe in my direction. If you're that scared, be that scared and stay away, because sometimes people be annoying. I'm not even gonna lie. Like, you are annoying. Not you. The person who's calling you intimidating or something like that. Because, I don't know, I'm just feeling like with school, so many people around, it's like, yeah, being in school and experiencing things and socialization, but I just get tired of people sometimes. Let me know if you feel that way too, but I just get really, really tired of people sometimes. Like, I have to cap off a certain time to just, like, don't talk to me, don't look at me, like, I cannot tolerate you. That sounds really mean, but that's just how it is. But anyways, back to what I was saying. Usually we associate being tall with being masculine. And I think I spoke about this a little bit in my episode about hating tall girl personality, where I basically said men are seen as domineering and powerful and masculine if they are tall. So it's kind of the same thing for a girl. Like, when a girl is tall, but instead of it being seen as a good thing, it's seen as a bad thing. Like, people use that not necessarily to insult, but it can just feel insulting sometimes. So I can understand that part, because women are supposed to be small and feminine and, quite frankly, like, not a threat to anyone or anything. And I'm not saying that that's a bad thing, because, you know, if you want to look that way, you want to come off that way, then that's on you, and you do you, and you make You do what makes you happy, and I'm happy if you're happy. I'm not saying that it's a bad thing, but there are billions of women on this planet. How can you expect them all to look, act, and just be the same? You can't. And this idea of masculinity and femininity is more of a vibe or an energy that you give off, not a physical feature, not a physical trait. So short girls can be masculine if they want, and tall women can be feminine if they want. You can be whatever type of whatever you want to be. So if people around you are calling you masculine and intimidating and you don't like that, and you told them that you don't like that and they're still doing it anyways, then you need to drop them, because they don't define you. You define you. And you can be whoever, whatever you want. Point blank, period. I said what I said. But yeah, I feel like this can be a tall girl problem. It can just be really, really annoying at times. So I can understand that. But yeah, that is basically all that I have for today. Thank you so much for tuning in and listening all the way to the end. Me rambling about apartments, the Hall of Science, showering and washing my hair, all that stuff. You're honestly a real one. I really do appreciate you. You are awesome. Now, as always, feel free to follow me on my socials at A Tall Girls Podcast on Instagram, TikTok, and Pinterest. And hit me up and let me know what you thought of this episode. Let me know what you think of this podcast. Let me know how tall you are. Let me know how your day is going, week, month, year. Oh my gosh. We are in November. This is crazy. Just yesterday was August and I was going to school for the first time. It was my first day of school and now we're in August. The weather is cold. I'm not mentally prepared for this. It was 40 degrees yesterday morning. 40 degrees. And pitch black outside at 6:30 a.m. and pitch black outside now like 5-ish. Oh my gosh. I can't. I don't know if I'm prepared. I'm still on summer mode, but it is what it is. We had to change with the seasons. So, yeah, I really did not think I was going to sidetrack like that. All my socials are going to be linked below in the description. You will also see a link to leave me a review. Please leave me a review and let me know how tall you are and how you're doing and what you think of this podcast. And everybody needs to know what the vibe is. I'm going to shut up now and just leave you with that. You are awesome, you are amazing, and you are enough. And I will catch you in the next one. Good night and goodbye.